Full disclaimer, I'm terrible with kids. I did a lot of work with them in the past. I once helped out in an art workshop when I was in 8th grade. I was a teacher's assistant to a class of 6-year-olds learning to write their letters in 2 plus 2s. You'd think with that experience I'd be better with them, but nope. I have a dead-eyed, resting bitch face that causes tears. Which, yeah, if I was 6, I'd probably be scared of me too. I still feel bad about it, though. But this poses a challenge when I try to write kids. Young characters are the bane of my existence simply because they're hard to write. I always end up making them either one an idiot or a genius philosopher, then want to bang my head against a wall. So when I saw Kachina, it was like a fire was lit beneath me. A realistic child character who doesn't compel me to take the quick way out. I even found myself falling in love with her character, something that rarely happens to me when it comes to child characters. But when she won that tournament, I was sobbing like a proud mother. It was ugly. So now I want to write characters like that, and if you clicked, I assume you do too. So how does Genshin write Kachina so well, but also make her seem like an actual human child? Let's see. Spoilers for Act 1 of Netlin. Before we get into it, remember to like and sub as always. I make a ton of content analyzing Genshin's story. If you want to stay up to date with when I post, either turn on notifications or join my Discord. We have an amazing community there, and I'm always down to discuss directly. It also lets you know when I post. And while we're talking about the Discord, I want to announce that I'll be doing a welcome giveaway there. Stick around to the end for more details. If you want to have a say in what video I make next, go to the poll in my community tab to vote. Also, for the purposes of this video, I'll be assuming Kachina's psychology is that of a 10 to 12-year-old, so a preteen. Anyway, let's get into it. So, first we need to ask why kids are so hard to write in the first place. We all remember that one child character made the story unbearable every time they were on the page or the screen. Unless the express purpose of your child character is to be one-note and irritating, you don't want them to come off this way. Not to mention the other end of the spectrum where 5-year-olds are speaking like 50-year-old philosophers. But why do so many of them come across like this? First, authors don't understand the maturity spectrum. We naturally see two ends, immature and mature. But if any of you have grown up, and literally everyone watching has, you have varying maturity levels from 5 to 15 to 25, etc. When you're 5, you cry at your favorite toy being taken. When you're 15, you talk more like an adult, but use a lot of penis jokes. But even though the 15-year-old makes penis jokes, if they can define when and when not to use them, is that maturity? These are the kind of questions we as authors have to ask. A pitfall I've also seen authors fall into, especially when writing younger kids, is making them too mature. The reason for this is as we get older, we can see immaturity as annoying. So how do we make the audience like our child character while still giving them reasonable maturity? The natural answer for this is that should be to give them more maturity. But while that can make them less annoying, that approach can sacrifice their realism. While we're talking about maturity and goals and whatnot, I also want to talk about emotionality. Children aren't taught how to manage their emotions until about 5th grade, or that was my case. But children feel emotion much more intensely than adults, which leads to lots of crying and screaming, which is really, really annoying. But what else is it? Realistic. Kids are inherently emotional. We've all cried over our favorite toy breaking or dropping our snack on the floor or something like that. If a kid goes through a tragic experience and deals with it like a grown adult, they just look ridiculous. But what if you want to write a character in the young genius trope? Well, there's a way to do this realistically as well. The most effective approach I personally have found is making their intellect mature, but their goals age-aligned. Perhaps their 8-year-old genius figures out when they act more sweet, their parents give them what they want, so they manipulate their parents into giving them the thing they want. But the thing they want is simple, like a new toy. This would seem way less realistic if they were using their childlike allure to manipulate their parents into, say, writing them a check of their entire bank account in their name, which also makes the parents seem like idiots. Anyway, this strategy can help counteract another problem when it comes to writing kids, the balance between not being as smart as an adult and just being stupid. Overall, the main problem with writing kids is they're taken too seriously. When you want to write them seriously, obviously, writing them as an adult in a 10-year-old's body is not the serious we're looking for. We're seriously trying to make them a child, not a stone-faced 50-year-old hardened by life. So enough about general stuff, let's talk silly game. Kachina. She is such a good example for writing a young character. She's clearly a child, but to most people I've talked to, she isn't annoying or unrealistic. And the crazy part is, she absolutely should be. She's a crybaby who beats adults in serious combat. In what world is that not realistic or annoying? To fact, it seems. So, how does this work? First, they let Kachina be a child. She cries a lot. She even calls herself a crybaby at multiple points. She's scared under pressure and needs help from the older people in her life, like someone her age should be. While someone Kachina's age won't break out into crying fits on a whim, she still feels strong emotion, which is shown. She cries multiple times, and every emotion she feels is cranked up to 10 like someone her age. She's young, so of course she's scared. But the special part about her is how well they lean into the preteen age. I don't know about you, but when I was 10, I was excited to grow up, get responsibility, etc. And Kachina is also excited to grow up. In this context, growing up means fighting the abyss. We also see Kachina is trying to distance herself from being young, a common practice among preteens. She literally talks about how she can't keep using her age as an excuse for weakness.
I can't keep using my age as an excuse. I have to get stronger.
I addressed before how it's important to give child characters goals that make sense for them. While at first glance going to war doesn't seem like a realistic goal for a child, it is in this context. In real life? No, that's stupid. But in Natlan, the ultimate honor, especially for those with an ancient name like Kachina, is fighting the abyss. Kachina's entire environment has been conditioned to give her that goal. To an average Natlan child told the stories of war heroes, this is a reasonable desire for her, especially given kids her age tend to follow their adult role models, especially during this time. The thing that really makes her work, though, is her effort. Honestly, I'll admit, little Kachina defeating a 3-time war veteran doesn't make a lot of sense. It's hard to twist it in a way so it does. But the story is written in a way so we don't care. We're told and shown Kachina's will to win. She's been trying for so long, and even though she's not magically gifted, she wins. And though it's not like real life, it feels earned. We ignore realism because 1, it's a fantasy world, and 2, the story makes sense from a plot perspective. It feels right, even though it falls apart logically. Anyway, as always, time for practical advice on what we can learn from this. 1. Understand the maturity spectrum. Avoid seeing maturity as a binary. Kids don't operate on a simple mature or immature axis. A 10-year-old might have mature insights on one thing, but handle emotions or conflicts in a very childlike way. When writing child characters, show them as capable in some areas, like problem solving, while still showing emotional immaturity or naivety. Let them be inconsistent. 2. Make their goals age aligned. A child's goals should align with their age and environment. Kachina's desire to go to war may not seem like a typical child's dream in our world, but in Natlan it makes sense. Her world and culture shape her ambition. Ground child characters' ambitions in their world or family context. Even if they're a genius, their desires should be relatable to their stage in life. 3. Balance intelligence with emotionality. You can write a child genius without losing realism by making their intellectual maturity clear, but keeping their emotional and social development in line with their age. If a child character is extremely intelligent, balance that out with age-appropriate emotional responses. They may outwit adults in conversation, but still throw tantrums when things don't go their way. Or they may manipulate situations for small rewards like toys or candy instead of grandiose schemes. 4. Lean into emotional intensity. Children, especially preteens, feel emotions more intensely than adults. Don't be afraid to let them cry, scream, or react strongly to small or big challenges. Amplify emotions in child characters, but link them to situations that feel age-appropriate. 5. Ground unrealistic elements in emotional authenticity. Even if something seems fantastical, like Kachina defeating a veteran warrior, you can make it feel earned by grounding it in the character's willpower and emotional journey. If a child character achieves something beyond their usual abilities, emphasize the work they've put in, their determination, and their emotional connection to the goal. The story can stretch reality if it's emotionally satisfying. 6. Let them be flawed. Kids often don't have a great grasp on things like social skills, boundaries, or self-awareness. Letting them have flaws or act out emotion creates depth and relatability. Allow your child characters to make mistakes, say the wrong things, or act impulsively. These mistakes should also feel natural and contribute to their development rather than just make them annoying. 6. Contextualize their actions. Kids emulate the adults they admire. Kashini's goals are shaped by the war stories she's been exposed to. Tie child characters' motivations or behavior to the role models they've been exposed to or the environment they're growing up in. 8. And this is very important, don't raise them like small adults. Kids aren't just miniature adults. They have different concerns, fears, and desires. Explore those and flesh them out. Resist the temptation to write them as an overly composed or emotionally restrained. When a child character faces a challenge, think about how a real child might react instead of how an adult would. Their logic might be flawed, their reactions disproportionate, and their strategies might reflect their limited experience. And so, what do you think? Video performance hasn't been amazing lately, and these take a lot of work. So if you enjoyed this one, like and comment to boost my algorithm. So if you want to see more, and again, check out my Discord. If you want to say what video I make next, check out my community tab for polls on future videos. Alright, before we go, I want to announce that I've been accepted into the Hoyle Creator Program. To thank all of you for your support, I'm hosting a welcome giveaway in my Discord. It'll be open until October 17th, and I'll announce the winner on the 19th. Anyway, that's all from me. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are, and hope to see you in the next one.